Welcome to the You Got to Do Better podcast presented by your two favorite hosts, Maya Jordan and
Lady MJ.
Today we'll be representing Mother's Day and diving into motherhood. As you see, we got two guests on our channel. Introduce yourselves.
Nina M.
And I am Regina Rain.
And today, as you know, we said we'll be representing motherhood. So let's get into today's podcast. All right. So, some questions I have for y'all is, as you all know, I like to say all of them are mothers here.
Mm-hmm.
And as for Mother's Day coming up this Sunday, I would like to ask y'all a few questions. So, for motherhood, what was the feeling when you first became a mother? Whoever wants.
Who want to start with that one?
Mom. Let's start with you since you're the host.
All right. What was my favorite?
I said, what was the feeling when you first became a mother?
So my first feeling was that I was very excited when I did find out I was becoming a mom. I would say I intentionally wanted to become a mom because I believe at that time in that period, everyone of all my classmates were mothers, and I felt like I was left out. So even though I was young, but that was kind of the era that I was in. So I was excited about becoming a mom and understanding or realizing I had a life, actually baby growing inside of me. So what about you, Rain?
For me, I was not excited. I was very, very fearful. And I was fearful in that prior to my first son, I had 3 pregnancies before that, in which I had lost the child in those pregnancies. So for me, it was fear of, oh my God, is the same thing going to happen again? Yeah.
Well, I think I can say my first initial feeling was shock. I think I was pretty shocked. Shocked, surprised, nervous, but excited at the same time.
Okay.
Excited because everyone around me, all of my sisters at this time was mothers, and so I had been around motherhood a lot, but I can say I was surprised, shocked
Surprise, shock.
that it happened.
So, second question, what are the challenges y'all faced as a mother?
Oh wow.
And after that, I have another question. So, as a mother with each different child, what is the challenges in that y'all face as well? Overall, as a mother, what's the challenge y'all face, and then with each individual child, what's the challenges y'all faced?
Okay. So the challenges for me was actually understanding that I am in charge or I have to oversee another human being and being a caretaker of my kids, and just understand it's not about me anymore. It's really actually putting them first and basically, actually, I wouldn't say forget about my life, but actually I put my life and what I desire and wanted on the back end, and I literally, put my kids first and kind of sacrifice a lot of things for them. But understanding that each individual, each child is their own in their own separate way. So to me, it's a blessing. It's a beautiful thing, even though it's challenging because you literally seeing each individual grow up with their own personalities, their own desires, and what they like, what they want, what they will not tolerate. So it's challenging. But being a mom is a very challenging role, but it's also a rewarding.
It is.
It's rewarding.
And what I can add to that is, to me, with each child, you learn more about yourself as a person.
Yes.
Because each child's going to bring something different out of you.
Yep.
So with the challenges, some of them are alike. I can say with my 2 children, I have 2 children, and so some of the challenges are the same that you just have with your toddlers and infant, different things like that. Learning each child individually. That is, to me, one of the biggest challenges, even as a baby, because you cannot think you're about to give birth to the same baby again. It's gonna be a whole
That's
new,
true.
whole new personality
Yeah.
you're giving birth to.
Yep, that's so true.
Yeah. Me, I'm a mother of 2 also. And I think the most challenging thing for me individually was like Nina said, it was learning the child.
Yeah.
And I think like with my first one, it was more like practice. And so with your firstborn, you kind of, oh, I didn't know, let me try this.
They're the trial and error child.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
trial and error child.
Yeah.
And then with the second one, you try to do what you did with the first one and you realize this is not working.
Exactly.
So I need to do something different. So like she said, just learning yourself.
Yeah.
Overall, I think the challenge of motherhood is making sure that each child feels equally loved. Because you can't love each child the same,
Yeah.
but you can still love each child equally, if that makes sense. You can't love them in the same capacity because they're different, but you still love them in what capacity is best for them. Because you might have a child that's affectionate, and so you think that showing affectionate to that one child, you can do it to the other, and you can't, because the other child will be like, ugh, you too much. So yeah, learning their personalities and just learning to love them in the way that fits them the best. Yeah.
And then I would also ask, like, were y'all ready to give up being responsible for yourselves after y'all had y'all first child and going into
Never.
No.
But this is the thing.
No.
This is the thing, you know. But no, well, you can't. I don't think that I can say that I was just ready. But the love you have for your child when you have your children, it helps you become selfless. So that, because that child becomes so important to you, and you're the fact that you've carried this child, you've given birth to this child, it helps you become selfless. You know, that's what I can say.
Yeah. I totally
But I
agree.
can't
So
say
how
I'm
did
just ready.
all
Yeah.
your mothers equip you?
Say that
How
again.
did all your mothers equip you for motherhood? What are some things that they did to help you? Well, as you grow up and you have children, you should want your child to do this and that, or like some things of cleaning, and doing all stuff like that. You know, like some aspects they gave y'all to be like, hey, you should do this with your child. Mom.
Okay, so me. All right, so I would say my mom, just basically observing mom, you know. I believe as I growed up, I was very close to my mom. So that was more of a benefit. I had a lot of my mom to myself, me and my sister. So I got to watch her or listen to some of the things that she taught us. So being able to do that, it's kind of like you would mimic. You know what I'm saying? You mimic what you've learned.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's more so my mom really instilled a lot more of being able to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was one stickler that mom actually showed. You know, you got to be able to get up and get dressed, because mama was a independent, you know, single parent mom. So she kind of taught me and my baby sister how to get up and also get dressed for school and be able to cook and clean, make sure the house is clean, and lay out your clothes, do your homework. So all the chores, self-efficient. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, it's kind of like what I learned from that. It was more so, okay, training and teaching our children, you got to be independent. You got to be able to get up on time and be able to, you know, wash and clean and iron your own clothes, and you have to know that you got to be at this school, or if you have this appointment, you know what I'm saying,
Being responsible.
to being responsible. And then mama also taught us that it's important that we have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
That's one thing mama, you know, mama gonna teach us that, right?
Amen.
So mama also taught us how to actually get on your knees and pray when you understand, or when I said, Mama, I got this test. Well, come on, let's pray about the test. You gonna get an A
We
on
prayed
the
about
test.
everything.
We prayed about everything.
My stomach hurt.
Come on, let's pray. Let me lay hands on you.
And that was
Drink the oil.
Yeah.
Your
That's
stomach hurts.
Building that faith muscle then, you know, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
What I can say about my mom, what she taught me as a mother, is the dynamic of family. Like, she didn't allow us, even with the bickering, because I was raised in a house. It was 5 of us, 4 girls. So you already know it was hectic. But she was the glue. She was the one that always allowed us to let us know that no matter what you go through, you got to come back together, because you only have you, you know.
Yeah.
So family dynamic, that's a lot that she instilled in us. Holidays and the different things that she would do and the sacrifices that that she would make as a mother, you know, for us. That's a lot of the things that I've learned, you know, that goes back to being selfless, you know.
Yeah.
But I can say that that's something that stuck with me.
So, one of the things, well, I would like to know, like, what are some things that you kept, like your mom always did when y'all was young? Like, some things that my mom did when I was younger. I remember being young and she would play worship music when we go to sleep. To this day, I still listen to worship music as I sleep. So, what is the example that y'all do when y'all, like, to this day that y'all still doing remind your mom?
I think that with me, going back to the music, my mother loves music. So to this day, and perhaps that's kind of where that steered from with the music with you, I cannot clean my house without playing music. I have to have music blasting. Anytime I'm getting ready to transition, if I'm getting ready to go out to dinner, I'm going to have the music up. So for my kids, they know that if they're coming in and they're hitting music, either I'm cleaning or they'll be like, Mom, where you finna go? Because they hear the music. So they relate that to, where you finna get ready to go? If they don't see me in there mopping or sweeping or cleaning, they automatically know. And that's something that she instilled in me because she loved music. She loves music. Always played it growing up. Whenever we got ready to clean up, she's gonna put that Whitney Houston on, that Freddie Jackson,
Yes, Lord, that was a
Luther Vandross.
Yes, honey.
Yeah, she would put that on. So that's something that I still have carried over. Like, I got to have music when I'm getting ready. It lifts my spirit.
Yeah.
It cheers me up. Sometimes I like to listen to music when I'm cooking, cleaning, anything that I'm doing. Music helps motivate me, and I know I got that from her.
Yeah. That's true.
My mom had a tradition where we had table time. It wasn't a name for it at that time. We just, you know, Mom get her coffee and her cigarettes, and we sit to the table, honey, and she go through each child to figure out what's going on. And that was our outlet. That was our time that we had time to be friends with Mama. You know, because, you know, we're used to her being mom and we being the kids. But that was our time that we were building the friendship, you know. And that's something I feel like I know that I carry with my children, because now my kids are 18 and 23 and they still like table time. So they come over. My oldest doesn't even live with me, but she comes over to have table time so we can sit down and I can dig in their business, you know, and figure out what's going on. So that's something that I realized that I kept going with my kids, that, you know, so we can stop for a second, find out what's going on with each other, you know. So that's something that I carried on.
So I have a question. Do y'all think that, like, because I always hear the thing of, you shouldn't be friends with your parents, or some people be like, I'm friends with my mom and dad. Like,
say it
cool.
again.
Like, should you be friends with your parents, or are you friends with your parents, or so and so like that? Do y'all think you and your child should be friends, or is it a turning point where y'all should be friends in your relationship, or get closer enough to be where they can be open enough to be like, hey, I don't need you as a mother right now, but I need you as a friend?
Of course. I think that is the balloon of motherhood. It's not, as a mother, there's different compartments that you have. So being a friend to them is one of the compartments that you have as a mother, because the older we get, the more open we get with our parents, usually, if we have that compartment. That's how I look at it. Now, once I'm older, I'm more comfortable to come to my mom and talk to her about some things. Once I'm mature enough, because when our kids are young, they're not going to come to us like they're, you know, like you'll go to your friends. So I I think that yeah, that's
so
a part of
y'all
motherhood.
y'all became.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that starts young, because they should be able to, that's the outlet, the table time. That's that time where they can be a friend. The friendship is built in that trust to be my friend at this moment. I believe that.
And it gives them an understanding where I am your friend. Now
Exactly.
I am your mother.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think that's important because boundaries are everything. And if you establish at a young enough age to know right now, I'm your mom. Because I think a lot of parents now, they want to be their friends so that they don't have to deal with the tough part of disciplining and when to say no. Because a lot of parents don't want to tell their children no. So that kind of doesn't establish a boundary of this is when I'm your parent and this is when I'm your friend.
Yeah.
Because those boundaries are blurred lines, that's what causes the disconnect and conflict of she my friend. Because, and it comes in stages, you know, like everything goes in stages. As your children get older, you begin to establish more of a stage of this is where I know I can talk to my parents on or my mother on a friendship level. So it definitely comes in stages. And like she said, just establishing at a young age that you can come to me and talk to me when you need to. But yeah, I think it's really establishing boundaries. Because if you try to make them like you and be too cool too soon,
I
those
think
lines get blurred.
And that's being young and seeing that within my friends and being like, your mom let you do that, and your mom let you do that. And it's like, sometimes I'll be like, well, I don't think your mom know how to discipline you. In my mind, I say that. I'm not going to say it to them. Because who am I to tell their mom how to parent? But anyways, how is y'all as teenagers with y'all mother? How did y'all relationship go as teenagers?
Oh, mine was great. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Like, okay, so for you all that don't know, Lady MJ and Maya, that's my niece and my sister. So we had, like she said, we had our mom to ourselves.
Yeah.
When she got married, it was like she was trying to figure out how to be a wife. So that kind of mother thing was like, I've had, you know, you guys had me to yourself all these years.
Yeah.
So now let me kind of maneuver on becoming a wife again and just her getting, you know, caught up in that. I was like, woohoo! My mama is a wife now, y'all. So that means, you know,
So basically,
she got to tend to that right there and master that.
so she enjoyed the distraction a little bit.
I enjoyed the distraction all day in America. I loved it. And I wasn't a troubled kid. I didn't give my mom any trouble or nothing.
Right.
But, and again, it comes from just knowing your children.
Yeah.
You know, where she taught us to be self-sufficient. So we weren't the kids where we were very needy.
Yeah.
Because we knew to get up on time. We knew what time we needed to be at the bus stop. We knew, so it made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed my teenage years. I loved them.
I enjoyed my teen years too. I had I think I kind of right at the end, right with graduation, mom was becoming a wife. So like middle school time, I still had her somewhat. So me and mom was really conversational. So I felt like I could go and talk to her about any and everything. I remember I had the biggest crush on this boy on the football team, and I was like, Mom, I think he has a girl. Like I used to tell my mom everything. I think he has a girlfriend, you know.
And none of your kids like that.
And none of my kids are like that. So I was like really very vocal, emotional, and I was really like, when open door policy, I believe in that, because I believe in coming in and telling her everything, you know.
Yeah.
So I liked the idea that I had her availability, you know. And then I understood when it was time for her to be able to be with her husband. It's like, okay, well, you know, go ahead and do that, because I was becoming a young adult, you know, my 20s, you know, graduating 18, 19, you know, you trying to be really outside, man, you know, you're a graduate, you driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no complaints growing up as a teenager and a young adult in that time, because it was to me, it wasn't a bad transition at all. Yeah.
In my teenage years, they were awesome. Because by the time I became a teenager, my older siblings were young adult.
And you're the
out.
baby.
You
I'm
the
the
baby.
baby.
You gotta say
I'm
the
the
baby.
baby.
And she
of
the baby.
six. Exactly.
And you the baby. So them babies
Those
be getting away
babies,
with it.
We do.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
usually by the time we're born, mama is a little tired. So she's not really as attentive because she's been through 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is the 4th one. So I'm not as worried
Right.
as I was with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd one. So I think that's what it was with, And and my teenage years, I had my own room.
Ooh.
See, I grew up in a crowded home, so I never had my own room. So that was awesome that I had my own room teenage years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah,
That's
so
very
that was
interesting.
good. That was
Yes.
that was good.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel being the youngest sibling? Like, do you feel that your mom is like not as attentive, or you being the
I feel
only daughter?
opposite.
Like, okay.
Because I am the only child, well, the only daughter,
Yeah.
which I only have brothers
Mhm.
on my dad and on my mom's side. So it's like, it's all the attention. It's not on me, but she's cautious of what I do. I feel like because I don't have sisters. Where it's like y'all all have sisters. Where it's like I can go to a sister and ask, hey, so and so and this, so how you do this and how you do that, but I can't do that. So it's like I go to her as if it's like that, but it's nothing like I have like I do feel like she's cautious of me or aware of me or look around on me.
That's
But
cool.
what are some things your mothers did that you don't do to this day?
It's funny because with me, the older I get, the more I realize I'm so much like my mom. And like, mom used to wake us up, and my kids hate this. She used to wake us up to clean up.
I hated that. And I don't bother my kids.
Early.
Yes, Lord.
And
I said I would never do my children
So
like
that's
that.
something
So
you
that's
didn't
me.
do.
I'm not finna I'm finna let my kids sleep in. And when they get ready to get up, okay, y'all up. Okay, now let's clean up. But I'm not finna wake my kids up early in the morning. Come on, you didn't wash them dishes last
She's
night.
still mad.
And that's
To
me.
this
I'm
day.
mad about that, Mama. Mama, why did you do that to us, Mama? Mama, I was good asleep. She will wake you up. All right, wake you up. You be sleeping good, and then Papa, hey, get up, and you ain't washed. It is not that important, bro. Can I please finish out my sleep? So I refuse. That's something I refuse. I said I would never wake my children up just to go clean up because it ain't going nowhere. When y'all wake up, go ahead and clean that.
She's so lenient, and I'm so opposite. Who didn't clean the get up? That's me, and I get that from my mom. You cannot go to sleep at night. I don't care if it's a fork and a plate. You finna get up, and you gonna clean it and wash it because I don't know. So I definitely got that. The one thing I can say I probably don't do. No, I'm a lot like my mom.
You a lot like Mama.
Yeah, because I will buy some stuff and hide it
Ooh,
in my churn closet.
Yes, Mama.
And Mama used to hide stuff in my closet.
Yeah,
So-
buying
What, buying
stuff
stuff for
Yeah.
yourself?
for herself
By
and don't got no
myself,
business
'cause you know-
buying it and then hide it, tuck it and hide it.
Yeah.
So your husband won't see it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a lot like because I'm sitting here thinking and I can't think of nothing that she did that I'll be like, I would never do.
do it.
Yeah.
What I can honestly say is, well, I guess I can relate this to when my kids were younger. My mom and dad was together, as I was growing up. So they kind of had an open room door policy for me where I could just come in. And I don't know about late night, but usually if I was up, I was just able to come in. And that's something that I vowed that I would never do with my kids.
Oh, okay.
Because to me, it didn't give them enough privacy. And maybe the difference could have been they had more children than I had.
Yeah.
And I was a single parent. I wasn't married. So that could have been it also, because I wanted to set those boundaries. So that's something I wouldn't have to work on once I did get involved or have a spouse.
Okay. Yeah.
So I wanted that boundary to be set when they were young. So they know this is mom time. This is mommy's time. You don't get to just come in and sleep with me unless you're sick. A lot of things that my parents let me do, I slept with them a lot. So those things I said I would never do. I vowed that I would never do it.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, I realized how much I was all in the way.
All
Just-
in the way.
just in those
Just,
people business.
girl.
I would have kicked me out.
Oh.
You know?
Honey, all in mom and
So I
daddy
got a
way.
question. Do single mothers make better children, or a couple make better children?
Growing up, I used to think that
I
having
think
two
single.
parents was better. I always thought that
Yeah, me too.
because our mom was a single mom.
Yeah.
So I felt that, oh my God, if my mom had a husband, then this would
Life
be
would be
better.
So much better. for
But
us.
I just think it all boils down to the morals and values that you have in yourself
Yeah.
and you instill in your kids.
Kids. Yeah.
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 Because I done met some jacked up children that had a mama and a daddy. You like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
That's why I think. That's why me personally, I think single parents make better children
Mm.
because it's more It's more of you learning responsibility at a young age as the child, so it can make the parent life easier. Is what I think.
Oh, wow.
I don't think, but having two parents, I think you're lenient with the responsibility because now your father is able to do so and so while you can do this because I have somebody else to help me.
Oh,
That's what I think.
Oh,
That's
wow.
good insight.
Yeah, that is good insight. Hearing it from you.
Yeah, from your from
your
a person's
perspective.
perspective, you know.
But I don't mean just don't have a two-parent household. I wouldn't advise y'all just to have a single-parent household.
Yeah, go ahead and tell the truth.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what? No, while we sitting here talking, I do know what my mom did that I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to do. And that was like, you had more of an open, oh, mom, tell mom everything. And then when I was your age, she was married. So I didn't really get to,
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
You're right.
For me, it was like, I'm going to make sure that you call it table time.
Yeah.
And we call it like basically powwow, family powwow, where we kind of, what's going on with you? You know, like, just to, so that's something that I do
Yeah.
with my kids that I know that I didn't have growing up. And I think that was because, like I said, she was getting into, backing into
I could
that.
say out of all my siblings, I am the most talkative. Like, my mom wouldn't have to come to me to ask because I'm just going to openly tell her what's going on.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's because I ain't got no person, like no sister, nobody that told me. I see that, friend. But what would y'all give advice to young mothers out there that's need help? Anything? What advice would y'all give them?
Smoking ain't gonna make it go away.
Alcohol either.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
'Cause we got to do better.
Sometimes.
And basically, that's what we're here for, to help our youth, our young mothers.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it's people, my age group got kids.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I be like,
Mm-hmm.
And just realizing that, like we said early on, is sometimes you're going to have to become selfless and give that time to your children, but you'll be able to get it back.
Yeah.
I think nowadays, most the generation now, they feel like, I need this time for me. And it's like, you can't have that time for you, but you just got to be able to structure it so that you get your time to yourself. But majority of your time, you got to know it's going to have to go into your children. And when they get older, then you'll get that time back. Not to say that, because, we all have had our times where we had fun, even though we had kids, but we set aside that time.
Yeah.
It doesn't come as often, but you do get it.
I think one thing about us growing up, we actually planned. And I believe, like the youth, they probably do plan, but it's like we took in consideration, and only because we watched our mothers. They enjoyed their life, they enjoyed their friendship and their marriages and their relationships. And then they always had time for us as children. But we seen how they set aside, okay, this is mama time. So I took care of y'all, this, that, and the other. But they always kept us in a line to kind of respect them as a mother. But then also kind of made that time. So it's like we learned that, our generation, we learned it comes in increments. Yes, it's me, you got mommy. So it's more of a time structure where we were taught, okay, this time, all right, now we ain't bothering mama. It's mama da-da-da. Where I don't know if our youth know it's time increments. You have to set that in your life, where it's saying you have to put these children on basically time increments. No, this
but
is
at the same
homework
time,
time.
I feel like it's not all their fault because whoever raised the other generation probably set them, like, didn't set them right for time
Yeah,
measurements.
that's
So
true.
Yeah,
at
that's
the
true.
same time, they don't know the place that.
The places and you
Because
you're
you have
right.
to create, what I would say is you have to create a balance. That helps you as a mother and it helps the kids.
Mhm.
From the tender age, you know, when they're young all the way up to when they become adults. Creating that balance, you don't lose you being mommy.
Yes.
Because you losing you being mommy is not a good thing for you or the child.
Mm-mm.
You know, because when that child grows up, because they're going to grow up, you have to remember who you are.
Yeah.
You can't always be mommy. That goes back to friend.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so if you have lost you,
Yeah.
then when your older child comes to you with certain situations,
Yes.
you're gonna give them something from mommy's perspective.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and
what I would say is keep a balance, and we have what I would really say is ask God for a godly balance as a
Yeah.
mother.
That's it.
That way we're not neglecting the hats that we should be wearing.
Yep.
Even as a mother,
Yeah.
you know, when we're mothering.
We definitely need guidance. That the Holy Spirit does help us, you know, even when we're in the unknown,
Yeah.
you know, and every day it's a challenge, but God has, you know, He gives us that gift, and that's the Holy Spirit to help us, to guide us and lead us to become that mom for this child or this child or that child, you know, to teach us when, where, how, because a lot of times we don't quite know and understand, but every day,
into
you
the
know.
unknown.
Right?
The unknown.
Well, that was all for today's podcast. Anything y'all would like to say? Shout out y'all business or anything?
Oh yeah, I just want to give a shout out to all the mothers. I am CEO of NWC Wigs, and I'll be launching hopefully at the end of this year. So everybody just stay connected. I'll be putting the information out there. Thanks for the invite.
And I just want to say thank you for having me on your podcast this blessed Mother's Day Eve. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And we are all a part of a nonprofit organization, Pearls of Palm Beach, Florida, which will kind of help bridge that gap for parents as well as young ladies alike, how to navigate through life.
Yeah.
So make sure you hit us up at www.pearlsofpalmbeach.org. And thank you for having us.
And if y'all didn't understand what they said, everything in the description is linked down below. But have a nice day. Happy Mother's Day. Peace out.
Hit that like button and subscribe.